I've been moved reading the story in the papers about the woman from Texas who appealed to a judge to end her very complicated pregnancy. And in the story I was reading in the Washington Post, it said there are actually dozens of different lawsuits out there right now, pregnant women bringing this concern, and that this is impacting people differently than arguments about the law because it's listening to stories, to people's experience. And it just hit me in that moment like, yes, that's the answer. That's what we should be doing is actually listening to the stories of people who are living this experience. And as I was thinking about recording this, in my head then is I know that to some Christians, they're going to immediately think that that means that I'm pro-choice. And that's actually what makes this so difficult to talk about is because we should be listening to women's stories not because of which side we are on the law, but because we're Christians and God is attentive to her story and he cares about her story. And then when I thought about saying my commitment to the child and understanding that God creates all life and how I feel about that as a Christian, I then was like, oh, how do I frame that in a short video that people don't think I'm pro life? Again, this is the problem. Can we sit in the tension as Christians with this mystery of how God creates life, how he intertwines a woman and a child, what it means to listen to the stories of when that is so difficult and be there, maybe not having full answers, but knowing that God is with us in that. And I think that Advent is a great time for us to sit with that messiness because God actually chose to initiate the salvation story through the messiness of a pregnancy of a young woman who found favor in his eyes and he asked her to do what was an incredibly difficult thing for her to do in the context of that society. She had no guarantees how things would go for her when women could be stoned for this. And he saw her and he gave her the option to think about it and to agree or not to agree to be part of this plan. It's messy. This is how he was choosing to bring his son into the world. And yet he approached a woman like this and elevated her in the story and actually inserted himself into the messiness of being human. And so I'm so grateful for all of us who want to sit to have this conversation. There's so much more ahead for this. And I'm just really grateful that you took the time to listen and that maybe this season be okay with complicated thoughts and views on this complicated issue.